Yes, good morning. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is Tuesday. The transfer window is upon us. Everybody's making moves. Everybody is looking to see what they can do to strengthen for next season. And Tottenham Hotspur should be no different. So, what are Tottenham going to do this summer? Are we going to have a big summer where Daniel Levy surprises us and suddenly we go, yeah, that's it? Or are we going to have another one of these underwhelming windows where we all go, I'm not sure. What I do know is this. We're into the Champions League next season. And with that means a better squad. Got to. So I'm not saying we have a better squad. You need a better squad. Listen, we're not going to be playing the caliber of teams we played this year. We're going to be playing much better teams. Yes, there will be some crossover between the teams that were in the Europa League and teams that are in the Champions League. But in general, you're going to come up against a couple of heavy hitters. You're going to come up against some big clubs. And also, if we want to move that dial in the Premier League from 17th, sorry, my chair's not quite straight today. I don't know what's going on there. If we want to move that dial from 17th to start moving up, we're going to have to start looking at a bigger and better squad. You have to ask yourself questions, don't you? Can we go into next season relying on Van der Ven and Romero's fitness? What do we do? Does one of them leave? Does a new centre-half come in? Have we already got that centre-half in Dragoshin and Danso? What do we do with the fullbacks? Will Jed Spence stay after the way he's been treated this season? If not, you need another right back and you need another left back that can cover Destiny Udogie. What happens in the midfield? What happens up front? What do we do with the wingers? There's a lot of questions at Tottenham Hotspur, as there always is. By the way, it's not just Tottenham. There are loads of questions at every single club. So what are we going to do? When are we going to strike? Now, lots of clubs have already started, right? Lots of clubs have already started. So, for example, we know that Liverpool are in talks with Florian Wirtz. What a top player he is. We know they've got Frimpong done. And we know they're about to open talks with Bournemouth for Kirkes. Arsenal already have Zubimendi through the door. They've got their new director of football in, Berta, who is a very good director of football. They'll be making more moves. Chelsea, we know. I mean, Chelsea's slightly different. They're still playing. They've got the European final Wednesday night. You know Chelsea are going to make moves. They always make moves. And then you've got the likes of Man City. Tajani Reinders, we're hearing. Ait Nouri, we're hearing. I think they're going to do what they're going to do as well. Aston Villa, what do they do? Not making Champions League. Do they need to sell some players? Do they need to buy some players? What needs to happen? Newcastle have got into the Champions League and haven't spent big since they've had their new owners. Is this the moment they spend big? So lots of question marks. Lots and lots of question marks. So I want to talk about that today and what we need. And everybody's got their own idea, right? Everyone's got their own idea of what is attainable, what is not. Some people have delusions of grandeur. Some people think that we should be fighting with clubs like Liverpool and City for top players. Other people probably a bit more, from my point of view, a bit more realistic about what's actually going to be coming into the football club. But you know what? I always hear every summer I hear, oh, these types of conversations are pointless. But are they? It's what we love talking about, isn't it? We love talking about our club. We love the transfer windows. We love the excitement of who's going to come in and who's not. So before we do anything this morning, before I do some hellos, let's just have a look and see what my mate Fab Romano and Plettenberg are saying. So we know that Lamine Yamal is signing a new contract today for Barcelona. You know there's going to be a massive buyout clause in that. It's going to be about 1 billion, I reckon. Ruben Amorim confirms his intentions to keep Bruno Fernandes, blah, blah, blah. Kevin De Bruyne's lawyers are set to arrive in Napoli in the next hours to finalise details of a 3-year deal. Napoli are hopeful to get the agreement done in the next 48 hours. Fair play. Not only the Italian champions, but going after someone of the calibre of Kevin De Bruyne. What a great signing that would be. Real Madrid will inform Como and Nico Paz on final decision about buyback clause this week. The clause available for Real Madrid is €8 million in the summer. 9 million in 2025 and 10 million in 2026. So that should be interesting. Nico Paz, good little footballer for anyone who has not seen Nico Paz play. Other than that, not too much has happened this morning. I'm just having a look, see if I've missed anything. Ansu Fati is going to Monaco. Brian Mbuemo, he said it is on United's list, but it will depend on outgoings for Man United, so not an easy deal. So you can see Man United have already started the wheeling and the dealing. I think you're probably going to look at people like Garnacho and Anthony and Rashford leaving. The likes of Cunha and Mbuemo going in is what their plan will be, right? But whether they can make it happen or not is two different things. Excuse me. Bless me. Oh, that came out of nowhere. So listen, it's going to be very, very interesting. Ron, any more of this? I'm just going to get rid of you. You did this yesterday twice. It was boring then. It's now boring now. You get some original content. It's so boring, this tattoo thing. It's so boring. This was a bit of banter between me and Jacob that then was clipped up to be some massive bet that it wasn't. It's absolutely ridiculous. So grow up or you will be blocked. It's just that simple. Let's say hello to a few people, shall we? Let's see who's inside the chat. Big up to Dean Law. Big up to you, my man. Big up to Finn. Big up to Tracy Jackson. Big up to Ryan. Big up to C to the fourth. Tony Rodriguez, channel member, is here. Big up to you, my man. Lee. Yes, it should be both, but you know what Spurs are like. Matty K said, the real question is, would you prefer David or Delap? I prefer Jonathan David. I think he's an out-and-out goal scorer. I think we need a clinical goal scorer, and I don't think we've got one. And for me, I think he probably makes sense because he's on the free transfer. So all you've got to pay is the signing on fee and his agent's bonus. But we'll see. Yes, I've seen that Conte is apparently leaving Napoli. Yeah. Turns up, wins, goes. That's why when everyone was telling me that we should have kept Conte for a project, not what the man does. This is what I never understood for all the people that wanted Conte. It's not what he does. Look what he did at Chelsea. Rocks up, wins, gone. Inter, rocks up, wins, gone. This is not a project guy. Big up to Jimmy Hotspur. How you doing, man? Good morning to you. Gareth Osborne. Yes, I have mic trouble, man. Sometimes I have mic trouble and sometimes those things happen. It is what it is. Big up to my man, Matty K. Big up to Money Mace. Big up to Mark Taylor. How we doing, guys? Hope you're all well. Big up to Don Vito. Dan Skyline, Steve Combo. Tweak is a member who's inside the house as well. Oh, who else we got? Billy Wilson Neil. How you doing, bro? Body, mind, spirit. Well, we know the Poch thing isn't going to happen. He's about to have a World Cup year in the host country of America. So I can't see it. Maybe it's one for a year down the line. But for me, I don't think we need to worry about Poch. If he came back, great. If not, there's other options. And at the moment, we've got a manager. So it doesn't really matter. The answer to this question is no, we can't get a Gyökeres. He will have much bigger options than Tottenham Hotspur. People will call me negative, but he does. He's got much bigger options. Big up to the Aussie, coys. So we need experience. Delap is another project. I'll be happy to see Eze, David, Belieber, and Cherky. We need Gueye from Erelise, but our defense is in general pretty good. Well, in general, our defense is absolutely shambolic. Again, this is not true. Our defense has conceded 65 goals this year. We can't just say our defense is pretty good when that's not true. I don't know. People just say what they're going to say. Ricky said, if up Savva, let's hope whoever's doing the being at Spurs isn't left at the starting gate. Listen, look, what will be, right? Big up Angus. Yeah, I haven't seen this officially anywhere. You keep telling me these things. I've not seen it officially anywhere, but I do think that you are, obviously, I think that you are going to be in pole position to get Gyökeres. As I said, I don't think we can compete with Arsenal for signings. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, yeah, I don't understand that. So yeah, absolutely. And Rob has said Verts, Cunha, and Buemo, Spurs linked with Carl Walker Peters. I genuinely believe that is going to happen. I think it ticks so many of the boxes for not for what I want. And by the way, I got nothing against Carl Walker Peters. It's just another one that doesn't raise us, does it? It's another one where you go, okay, homegrown, club trained, free transfer, plays right back, left back. It ticks all the boxes for the club, right? I'm not sure whether or not it's going to get the pulses racing. But hey, we'll see what happens. Dan has said Vlahovic. Absolutely. Vlahovic, good player. I think he's kind of lost his way in the last few years. Whenever I watch Juventus play, I always think they don't really play to his strengths, but he's a good goal scorer for me. Yeah, I think would be a good signing, definitely. Atavatron Wembley said, morning, Savva. Good morning to you, sir. So the uncertainty over the manager and the likes of Paratici. I think the manager's staying, right? I think the manager's staying. When we're saying uncertainty, put my feelings to the side. I do generally think he's saying Paratici not officially starting until July the 1st. Listen, let's be brutally honest. Paratici's working behind the scenes. Let's be brutally honest about this. Don't worry about that, my man. Paratici's working behind the scenes. Sker said, I think Cherky would thrive in any system. I really like Cherky. I think he's a good footballer. I really, really do. Really good footballer, Ryan Cherky. We'll see. Again, another one that I do think should be very obtainable. I think there are some that are, and there's many that aren't. This is definitely the type of deal I think we should be going and doing right now, whoever the manager is. Boom, 50 million down. Let's take Mbeumo. Stick him on that right-hand side. How much stronger does he make us? I think that would be absolutely brilliant for me. Again, I can only, by the way, when I go live, I can only offer my opinion, right? I know so many people want to make content about me and do videos about me, and they can't seem to do their own content, but I only offer my opinions, right? And for me, Mbeumo would be absolutely class on that right-hand side. I would relegate Brennan Johnson down into a squad player, and I would have Brian Mbeumo as my starter. I think he's an excellent footballer, scores a load of goals, pace, drives past people. Let's see. Good morning to Kate. How you doing, Kate? Hope you're well. FC has said, good morning, Savva. Are we really going to squander another 400 million players for a manager who won't last Halloween? Well, listen, if the club have made the decision that Ange is staying, then they've got to back him. Now, whether or not I want that, again, park it to the side. It's not about me. I can only offer my opinion. If Ange is going to be here, right, let's build. If Ange is going to be here, let's build. But, all I've said is I want people to be consistent at the end of the season. Before they start making videos talking about finishing second, third, and fourth, actually analyze the squad and go, hang on, how good is this? Do you know what I mean? Because I sit down at the beginning of the summer and I analyze the squad and go, where do I genuinely think we can finish? Not just screaming that I love Spurs and we're going to win it. That's fun. That's fine and fun. But that's not how I operate. I like to go a little bit more analytical with everything. But good morning to you as well. Matty, listen, I talked about this yesterday, and this is the thing for me, right? Again, I'm sorry. I think you all saw me give this guy one more chance, right? Ron, you've turned into a right idiot, right? I used to like you when you came in. Now you just turned into an idiot, so we'll put you in a timeout for a little bit. We're in London. I don't know what that means, but big up to you. Good luck for you being in London. Big up to each and every one of you. Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. For me, this is a no-brainer. Fits any system. And listen, I'll be so jealous. If Man United get Brian Mbeumo, I'll be so jealous. If Man United rock up and sign Brian Mbeumo and Cunha, look at the difference that makes to their forward line. Those two players, just brilliant for me. Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen. Of course, dream away. I just like to keep it a little bit more realistic. Matty K said Mbeumo, I agree with Edison. I don't. Gibbs White, yep. Eze, Ange doesn't want him. Wharton, not achievable. Guehi, yes. I just think there's going to be a lot of big clubs that are going to be in for the signature of Guehi. That man ticks the box for everybody. Top centre-half, English. He's England's #1 centre-half now. I think he's going to have big clubs after him. And you know, the thing is, Matty, he's got 1 year on his contract. He's got 1 year left on his contract. I think he's going to get some offers. If it's us, superb. I'd love Guehi. I think he's always available. I would love Guehi. Tottenham till I die. I said, David in a heartbeat. Big up all and big up Savva. Well, listen, this is in response. Big up to you as well. This is in response to the poll I put out. Only 100 and... Oh, no, hang on. Oh, actually, we're getting up there with the votes. Only 200 votes at the moment. It was, would you like Delap, Jonathan David, or Neva? And at the moment, David 48%, Delap 33%, and Neva on 19%. Only because I've seen that we're monitoring Delap, and we've gone in for David before, and he's a free transfer. So that was all. I'm not saying any ITKs. An evening chat. Have I written that anywhere? Don't tell me I've written that. An evening chat. Oh, gosh. There you go. An evening chat. Sod it if I've written that. Big up to you, Nick. Hope you're well, my man. Have I seen Ali Gold's tweets that decision on Ange is unlikely this week? Yeah, listen, I said after the final, look, again, would I like him here? No. Is he going to be here? Yes. I genuinely think he will now. If not, I think, again, it's gross incompetence, not making the decision sooner. But I just think we need to get on with it now, and let's get the transfer window going, right? Managers come and go. Players tend to stay a bit longer. So we need to make that happen. I mean, yeah, but look, we're being silly again, aren't we? I mean, Vitinha from PSG. You're not signing Vitinha from PSG, who's just been one of the best players in the world this season. You're not signing Vitinha. We've got to keep this realistic, Tracy, all right? As much as I'd love to just go and sign all these players, it's not what Spurs do. Realistically speaking, I think we need cover at fullback. I think we need, when I say cover, I want rotation options. I think we need more fullbacks. The centre-back position is all going to depend on Romero staying or going, and the fitness of the players. At the moment, you've got Dragoshin, Van der Ven, and Romero all having big injuries this season. So I think you've got to be careful of, if we go with that four again, we can't then complain if they get injured next year because we know they're injury prone. I think we need a top midfielder. I think we need a top midfielder to run the show. A number 6, a deep line playmaker. I think we need someone in there to run the show. And I think we need a couple of forwards. So for me, I think there's work to be done. Will it all be done in one window? No, I don't think it will. But I do think there is absolutely a lot of work to be done. Look, we finished 17th, okay? Anyone that finishes 17th has a lot to improve on. So let's see. Let's see what happens in the next weeks and months, all right? Let's see. Money Mace said Spurs are apparently interested in Garnacho. Sorry, but I'd be extremely disappointed if we signed him. Not for me at all, personally. I think he's overrated. Do you know what? Listen, I don't want him either. I'm going to say that. It's not that I hate him. I think there's potential there. But again, I'm bored of signing potential. I would rather him, though, than Tell. I'll say that right now. But I think there's better than both of them out there, isn't there? Big up to Dan. Hope you're well, my man. Hope you're well, buddy. Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres will end up at Arsenal. I do. I just think he will. I think he's going to end up at Arsenal. Sorry, who's this? Okay. Yeah, listen, I do think that he's going to end up at Arsenal. By the way, you guys are being really tight today on the likes and the subscribers. Only 95 likes. There's 405 of you in here. That's 1 in 4. Come on, man. Come on. That should be 250. And the subscribers, not one new subscriber today. Come on, people. We're better than that over here, aren't we? Let's smash that like and that subscribe button. For anyone that hasn't subscribed, the link is going into the chat right now, and I will pin that right now for anyone that would like to subscribe, and I appreciate you greatly. Let's have a look at some super chats, shall we? So big up to Aris thank you very much. Always just chucking in the super sticker. Always never says anything. Much appreciated to you, my man. Very generous as always. Really appreciate you. And Matthew, big up to you, has said, big up. Which 3 positions would you improve ASAP? Centre mid, a proper winger, and a proper goal scorer. That is absolutely what I would go for. A centre mid that can sit in, hold, control the game, deep line, DM, whatever you want to call it. A winger that can beat a man and score goals, and a striker that can score goals. I think we've got a lot of wingers who can't beat a man. I think we need one that can take players on. And that's why I'd have Mbuemo. Drives at people, scores goals. Take him all day long. Big up to you, Matthew. Hope that answered your question. Aussie, coys, said, with Romero and VDV, we are top 4 on stats. With 1, we are top 10. Without either, we rank near the bottom. Yeah, but Aussie, it all depends what stats you look at. Because if you actually look at the teams we've beaten when those players have won games together, it's all of the teams in the bottom half. So, again, you've got to put it into context, right? It's all well and good saying with Romero and VDV, but we've lost many games with Romero and VDV as well. And if these guys are injury prone, you can't just count on this. It no longer becomes an excuse about injuries if you know they're injury prone and don't change it. Next year, if we lose VDV or Romero for a long period of time due to injury, no one can be surprised, surely. You know they're injury prone footballers. Between them, they miss so much football. So this is where coaching comes into play. You know, every club gets injuries. Every club loses a centre-back or a right-back or a left. You've got to play with what you've got. So I just, there's too many excuses for me. And the finishing is terrible. These were his signings. He has publicly stated that Johnson, Solanke, these were his players. So, you know, you've got to be fair. It's a bit of a balanced argument there. Big up to you, Aussie Anche, too, with a super sticker. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you, my man. That's very, very generous indeed. Scott Foxwell, big up to you. I said Jack Grealish would be a superstar at Tottenham. Do you know what Jack Grealish would be? A leader, an experienced winner, a leader, a technical footballer that doesn't give the ball away every time he gets it. I'd take Jack Grealish in a heartbeat. We need more leadership. We need more people around the changing room. And for me, I think Jack Grealish is exactly that. Jack Grealish has got this ability to take the ball up the pitch and hold on to it. You watch when the ball goes to our wingers, whether it's Son, Tell, Odegaard, Moore, Johnson, every time they lose it, boom, Grealish holds onto the ball, brings others into the game. And I like that about Jack Grealish. I really do. Big up to you, Scott. Hope you're well. Let's see who else in the chat. Big up to my man, Daniel Harris. How you doing, bro? So big up to Savva. The first transfer will tell us everything about next season. If it's Werner, like we're stuffed, we need Paulinho, Locatelli, Eze, Dave. I agree. Eze, I keep hearing Eze's name, but I mean, unless Anne just changed his mind. Last year, he was offered the chance and said no. Paulinho, Locatelli, David. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. Locatelli last year was available, wasn't he, for like, was it 18 million euros, 22 million euros? So frustrating. It's just players sitting there that we could get. Matty K said, this is vital time being wasted. Leaving needs to decide. But, I mean, when we're saying leaving needs to decide, surely without any conversation about it, it just means he's staying, right? Surely that's what it means. Is everyone looking for the confirmation? Are they? Is everyone looking for confirmation that that he signs? That he stays? I don't think we need to. Latest, the Tottenham squad do not want Ange to be sacked. I mean, sure, they get away with losing 26 games a season. Of course, they don't want him to be sacked. Oh, what's going on there? So we are going the 10R group. Listen, let's talk about some transfers. We'll come to that in a bit. Angus is going to send something in the chat. Big up to my man, Elijah. Good to see you yesterday, bro. Hope you're well. Breaking news is that Mary Earps, the England goalkeeper, is retiring from international football. So Mary Earps, who's had a wonderful career, is retiring from international football. So wish her well. Yeah. Yeah, Nick. Yeah. Yeah, I think Garquez is a little bit more gettable for them than than Mbappe. But yes, that would be really funny. I do find it funny though when Angus confirms things. I look around at Romano, can't see it anywhere. I look at Plettenberg, can't see it anywhere. I'm looking at Ornstein, he's not confirmed it, but Angus is saying, yeah. Angus is saying, yeah, he's definitely signing. Let's have a little look. Let's see what Florian Plettenberg's saying this morning. What's the last thing he said? Eintracht Frankfurt are working on a flat out to reach a verbal agreement with Jonathan Burkhardt. Okay. I don't really know him. Eintracht Frankfurt are also working to reach a verbal agreement with Doan. Yeah, the Japanese player. Yeah, okay. So it's all about Frankfurt. Let's see if anything warrants the Premier League. I like Plettenberg. I like him. So nothing really from Plettenberg that affects anything in the Premier League. Let's have a look at Ornstein. I'll tell you what, let's have a look at Damasio. Gianluca Damasio. Is he saying anything? Not too much. Let's have a look at Ornstein. Where is he? David Ornstein. There we go. He's the first Ornstein, the David that comes up. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. Oh, no. Let's have a look. What's Ornstein saying? He doesn't post as much as the others. Newcastle United decide against taking up an option to extend Callum Wilson's contract. But enter negotiations over a new deal that will be slightly more incentive-based. Okay, that's interesting. Other than that, he hasn't really said anything. The last thing was, no, hasn't said anything. So David Ornstein not said a lot. Not a lot going on this morning, but we know it can all change very, very quickly in football, can't it? So keep an eye out on that. Yeah, as I said, I take Vlahovic. As I said, I think he might have lost his way a little bit. I do put a lot of that down to the way that Juventus play, quite stifling. But I quite like Vlahovic. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Tottenham would make an approach for him. I just think we need better than Dominic Solanke in the Champions League. And by the way, you lot are so tight. 450, not one new subscriber today. You tight people. Good morning, Skur. This is Savva. I've seen an insane stat saying I'll start back four. I've only started 9 Prem games together. We have to sort out the injury issues. Look, Skur, this is my point. If we know this, right? If we know this, you have to ask yourself, can we go in to another season with those two as the main centre-backs when we know they don't play a lot? It's, and again, that's heart, head, or head, heart. It depends which way you look at it. On paper, you're going, oh my God, Van der Ven, Romero, brilliant. But in the head, you're saying, do we need a centre-back pairing that stay fit? That's what I like about Mark Guehi. The guy always seems to be fit. I agree, Brett. I absolutely agree. I think when we don't play the crazy high line and tactics, I think we've got a good defence. I'm not doubting that in any way, shape, or form. Carl Walker-Peters, not for you. Look, I think that for me, I think he is... Listen, if Spurs were going to go and spend money this summer and use the transfer budget to buy good players everywhere, but then said, hang on, we need defensive cover, Carl Walker-Peters is going to be that guy. He's on a free. I'm comfortable with that. But if they're all going to be free transfers and that's the only thing we do, then it will be back to this guy, won't it? Big up, Bill. I said, Levy is doing a brilliant job. Bought you the managerial want and a trophy, man of the people. Mate, you know my opinions. Good morning, Johnny. Hope you're well. How you doing? Matheus Fernandez, interesting option. Good morning to Adise. Good morning. Ashley has said, by the way, why am I 18 minutes behind the chat? Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Why am I so far behind the chat? Let me bring that a little bit to recent times. Sorry if I missed loads of comments. How have I possibly let that happen? How have I possibly got 18 minutes behind the chat? Wow. I mean, wow. It's mad. Big up, Mary. Absolutely. Not for me. Not for me. I think this is a guy that could be very good in the future. But for me, I think it's lazy. I think it's really, really lazy scouting from Tottenham or not scouting. Yeah, Bill. Oh, naughty. Andy has said, morning, Savva, please, please, no more youth. Listen, I don't mind the actual age. Like, if we're going to get 22, 23-year-olds that have been around for 3 or 4 years, I'm cool with it. But I just don't want any more 18, 19-year-olds that we need to completely coach. We've got enough of them, haven't we? I completely agree with you. Manny has said no to Grealish. I love this. I'll be honest, not picking on you, Manny. I love this, how suddenly we think we're better than people like Jack Grealish. I think it's hilarious, but hey, I agree. Listen, you can buy him in. It doesn't mean he has to start every game. Think of his experience in Champions League games and in big games. Just absolutely vital. Big up C to the fourth, who said, not looking for public confirmation, but Ali Gold said the decision isn't even made. Yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see. I think he's staying. I think he's staying now. Yeah, haven't Arsenal signed Mendy? I'm pretty sure it's all done, bar the shouting and screaming. Yeah, yes, he's staying. Yeah, I think it was at 4 years. I think he's halfway through. I think it's 4 years. No, this is a big concern for me. I want to see now. Start moving in the market. Let's start moving in the market. Let's do it. Let's move. Let's act. Let's not be this club that try and do things late in July and the beginning of August. We need half a team. Listen, I think squad building's always ongoing, right? And I think what we need is, I think we need some really good. I don't know if you agree with me, Paul. Don't know if you all agree with me, right? I think what we've got to do is we've got to go and buy players that walk straight into the 11 and that push some of the starters down into squad players, and that push some of the squad players down into saleable assets. And I think that's just how you build a squad, right? What we can't do is keep buying backups, keep buying options. I think we need some really good players that go in that first team. That's what I would do. Yeah, I like Ekatike. Good, brilliant hold-up play. Really good hold-up play. Yeah, listen, I think he's a good option. I do think that a few people will be circling around him. I don't know. Maybe he stays. Who knows? But yeah, that's definitely a good option. Ruben, so the two players I believe take us to the next step instantly are Belieber and Mbuemo. I'd like both. Yeah, but I feel like we're just watching the big clubs take all the good players while we're celebrating a Europa win. Yeah, look, as I said, for me, listen, we can turn around and sit and we can go, right, we won the Europa League. It's amazing. Let's celebrate for weeks and weeks and weeks. Cool. We as fans, sure. But the club, this is a business. What are we doing? Now, by the way, I'm not saying they're not doing anything. I'm not saying they're not. We don't know. We haven't heard anything yet, but let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Ruben has said, Belieber and Mbuemo, they are two players we need. Listen, Belieber, I think the problem you're going to have with Belieber, let's have a look at Belieber, right? I really like him, by the way. And again, Brighton just scout superbly, don't they? Brighton scout absolutely brilliantly. Now, the problem you've got is Belieber has been at Brighton for 2 years, okay? And let's have a look what Brighton paid 27 million euros, right? What Brighton will ask for will be nowhere near 27 million euros. Brighton do this. They will buy a player in like that they've scouted brilliantly. And then what they will do is they will sell him for double more than that, the price. That is what they do. I can't see that we would pay that sort of money. I think he's a really good midfielder that every time I watch him, I'm really, really impressed. Strong, good on the ball, good work rate, drives forward. I think he's a really, really good footballer. Interesting question. I mean, Van der Ven for the high line, Romero for not the high line. I don't know, pick or choose. But the problem is, I also think Danso, by the way, is absolutely brilliant in the air. I think he's just going under the radar a little bit. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very good player, Danso. Not magnificent, not spectacular, not the sexiest name. But I think he's a player that's going under the radar a bit. Ashley said, yo, Savva, either we need to sign winners, leaders, or players who are the duel in smaller teams' crowns. But when they've got to challenge, replace our first team players, for me, they've got to replace some of them. For me, I'll be really disappointed if we see the same 11 lining up next season and more subs on the bench. Yeah. Ruben has said Taylor, yeah, well, listen, the problem is one's going to be double the price of the other, right? If we're going to be brutally honest, one is going to be double the price of the other. Absolutely would take Douglas Luiz in a heartbeat. Absolutely would take Douglas Luiz. Experienced, not getting as many games as he'd probably like in Italy. Absolutely. Yeah, I would. I think Berg's a very good footballer. Again, I think we probably need a little bit more of a ball winner, but I quite like Berg. So, yeah, he'd definitely be an option. And this is the thing, Sinner. I think there's players everywhere, right? There's so many good players out there. Where are we? Leandro Demal. There's always a Leandro Demal comment, isn't there? Big up to Simon Bergen. Thank you very much. Very generous. So next season, I would take 9 in the league and last 8 in the Champions League. Listen, Simon, for me, I think it all depends on the situation we're in. And let me explain that. Before I sit here at the beginning of the summer and say what I think is a good year, it all depends. Who is the manager? Who are the players that have been bought in? So if it's this manager that would have had these players by the end of next season for 3 years, I want top 4 and a trophy because he's been here 3 years and blah, 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 blah. If it's a new manager coming in that needs to implement a style, needs to build, then there's a little bit more leeway there. So I see what you're saying. But I think for me, before I start talking about next season's expectations, and thank you for the super chat, but before I talk about next season's expectations, I think we need to see where the land lies with players that have come in, who's the manager. And at the moment, it's Ange, but then we'll see what players come in. Quinny, big up to you, my man. I said, Levy, the new CEO, Paratici, will get together and decide about Ange and then either pick a new manager or new players. Yeah, listen, as I said, I think he's staying. But I mean, I think like these conversations would have already happened, Quinny. If we're honest, these conversations would have or should have already happened. But I've said I think he's staying. I know people don't like it when I say that, but I think he's staying. If I'm wrong, then I'm happy, but I think he's staying. Big up, Aaron. How you doing, man? Hope you're well. Love Aaron. Good guy. Really nice to see you, my man. Big up, Savva. Who do you realistically believe we will sell this window? I think that you're going to see the likes of Basuma go. I think that you're going to see Solomon, Brian Hill. I think you might see the likes of Scarlett leave on a permanent. Valise, I think, might go. Son could go if they want to get some money for him. And then you've got to ask the question, haven't you? The likes of Kulu and Romero. I don't know. Does Romero stay? Does he want to be here? Kulu? I don't know. So I think there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes, and that's what we love about a summer transfer window, right? It's all the speculation. And yes, I did see this yesterday. Yeah, about trying to get Nkunku on loan. Now, I like Nkunku as a player. The Nkunku I saw before he went to Chelsea. Then he came to Chelsea and was injured and hasn't really then ever had a run of games. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd want to know what they plan for him on a loan. If you're getting him on a loan, I've got no problem with that. And yes, I would rather have him over Matisse Tell. So yeah, that's the sort of loan. Cheltenham Bromley. I'm sure they do. And if they do, I'm sure Spurs have already scouted the teenagers. Thank you to the 3 or 4 people that did just subscribe. That's very, very generous of you as we continue to grow. Thank you for that. Big up to, thanks, Aaron. Yeah, appreciate that, man. God, it takes time, doesn't it, to grow the channel? But, you know, we're getting there. Now, Daniel, I would love Jarrod Bowen. I think Jarrod Bowen is everything we don't have in the forward line. He can play up front. He can play out wide right, out wide left. He runs at players. He shoots with both feet, and he scores a lot of goals. For me, absolutely. Now let's look at away from what I would like. Would Jarrod Bowen make the move from West Ham to Tottenham? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I would 100% take Jarrod Bowen. I think he's a very good footballer. Listen, again, not the sexiest of names, but every year rocks up, scores goals. I like him. Matty K, I would love Matoma. Again, the problem with taking any player from Brighton is what they will charge. They don't need to sell. So when you've got a club that doesn't need to sell, they can turn around and go, yeah, sure, 80 million. I'm just spitballing. 80 million. And the Chelseas go, all right. The Tottenhams go, ooh, no. So I agree. I love Matoma. I think Matoma's a brilliant player. I think he's an excellent winger. And I think if we had, imagine you had Matoma left and Buemo right. Matoma and Buemo and Jonathan David. Suddenly I've got a front three run going. I want to watch Spurs. I'll be excited. But we just don't do that. And yet, listen, they can command whatever they want for Belieber. Look, they did it with Kukurea. Yeah, they did it with Caicedo. Brighton are a very well-run club. Fair play to them. They're very well run. They know what they are. They know their limits. They know when to cash in. Yeah, I quite like Ravella. I do quite like Ravella as well. Yeah, good footballer. I like him. Yeah. Will you be surprised if we extend it? Yes. I mean, he's got 2 years left. I'd be surprised if we extended it. Absolutely. What do I think of Lamine Kamara? I can't say too much. If I'm honest. I don't. Terry, you know me. I try and be as transparent as possible. I only ever want to comment on players that I'm 100% comfortable saying I've seen them a lot. And I haven't seen this guy a lot. Not in enough detail that I can go, yes, no. Like, I don't want to be disingenuous. Normally what happens if Spurs are linked with a player, I make it a point to go and watch them and watch that club play, but I haven't seen too much of him, I'm afraid. Yeah, Spoon Dangler, love that name. Yeah, I think Douglas Luiz, again, Premier League experience, good age, good engine, good central midfield. I think we need some players like that. And if I was to say, listen, by the way, I like Basuma, but I feel like he's been here a long time now. If I was to say, well, Basuma's going out and we're bringing in Douglas Luiz, I think that would represent smart business from Tottenham Hotspur. Plus, Paratici with the links to Italy. Who knows? Given his situation at Bayern, you think, yes, Lee, absolutely. Now, I'm not turning around and saying he would 100% join us. But for me, Lee, what I'd be doing is you know, we've got the relationship with Bayern, clearly. Kane, Tell, Dyer, like we've got these relationships with Bayern Munich. They owe us money. I'd be saying, listen, not Tell, what can we do about Paulinho, even if it's for a yearly on loan? I'd be saying to Paulinho, listen, you've got a house in Fulham. You've got that house. You live in London, right? What's wrong with trying to get someone like that? I think that works. Listen, normally I wouldn't say we can rock up to Bayern and take their players, but this guy's not established himself as one of their first team players. So I do believe that would absolutely make sense, Lee. Yeah, absolutely. Where are we? By the way, the lad at Torino as well, Ricky, I'd take him. I think he looks like a very, very good defensive-minded midfielder. I really like him. What centre-back should be the ideal Romero replacement? I think that they'll put Danso there. I like Guehi. I think Lacroix of Palace is excellent, by the way. I think Lacroix of Palace is a very good player. Tell you who else I like. I like Zabanyi at Bournemouth. I think he's a good centre-half. I'm just trying to think of realistic options now, rather than, you know, me saying, oh, I want Bastoni and that sort of player. There's a lot of players out there. That are very good with a bit of scouting. No, I wouldn't. No. No, I just wouldn't. Age. I think now he's just gone past, and the whole club would now be about Ronaldo, wouldn't it? It would be about Ronaldo and nothing else. And I just don't think it works. Is he going to press? Is he going to close down in this system? Mr. Khan, you know, we've talked about this before. The problem is we can bid for Eze, but Ange didn't want him last season. I agree with this. I think Paratici's been working behind the scenes for ages, if I'm honest. Let's see. The question mark has always been, would Ange and Paratici get on? Are they too different? We're about to find out, aren't we? Basuma and Kulu have to say what we're talking about. Well, sure, but Daneo, I think what we've got to realize here is you've got to move some players on to make money, right? We do this every year. No one wants any player sold, but then we want to buy new players. You've got to, you've got to make room in the squad. You've got to make room for the wages, and you've got to make transfer fees available. So I'm not saying it has to be these two, but someone's got to go, right? Jonas, I don't remember debating you, but okay, good for you. What signings do you think we're realistically looking at? I think we're going to look at a lot of free transfers. I think we're going to look at a couple of young players and then some free transfers. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm massively wrong, but this is Tottenham we're talking about. Big up to Trevor, who has said the club spends £42 out of every 100 on recruitment and wages, while our main rivals spend much more, which means they recruit better quality and pay better wages. Sure. Absolutely. That's got to change. Absolutely, Trevor. Just, yeah, there's nothing I can say to that because I agree with it 100%. Absolutely, my man. I don't think he would. I'd love him. I'd love him at the club. I just don't think he would. Yeah, Keith, I agree. I don't think West Ham would sell him to us. I think there'd be uproar in their fan base. I just don't get this. Right? Why does everyone need me to be smiling all the time? It's so weird. It's like if I celebrate a goal, you didn't celebrate enough. I'm not someone who loses my mind at goals going in or goals going for us or against us. And people always say he doesn't celebrate. I just don't lose my mind. I see YouTubers throwing their chairs and smashing things. It's just not who I am. But apparently that's not right. Leighton P, I agree. I agree. I think this is absolutely what Brighton will do. I think this is absolutely, hang on, let's have a look at Stan. Sorry, 1 second. I've got to send this photo to the other half. This is brilliant. This is Stanley in a nutshell. Oh, no, he's moved. Oh, he's moved. Here we go. There is Stanley. So while I'm streaming, I've got a Stanley sleeping like this the whole time beneath me. Oh, Stanley. What a legend little Stanley is. And little Stewie, who's just chewing on a bone. Big up to him. Big up, Leighton. Big up to you, mate. Yeah, I agree. And this is the thing that Spurs need to get better at. We need to be able to bring through a few players that we move on for big money so that we can reinvest. And that's what Brighton do. Well, I mean, when you say we're playing Football Manager, I mean, when you're looking at it, we're talking about players on free transfers like Jonathan David, Angel Gomez, Kyle Walker-Peters, which is exactly what Daniel Levy likes to do. We're not going to, I agree with you, though, we're not going to go to Brighton and go, how much do you want for Matoma? I'd be so surprised. Let's have a look at Matoma, shall we? Let's have a look at Matoma transfer market. Right, let's have a look. Let's see what he's got left on his contract. Here we go. I like Matoma, by the way. I think he's a really good winger. So Matoma's contract expires in 2 years. So, I don't know, 60 million? Are Spurs going to rock up and pay 60 million? I don't know. I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see. Where are we? Don't. Well, isn't Calvert-Lewin on a free, isn't he? I think he's on a free. I do think, though, that Richarlison ends up back at Everton. I do think that part you got right. I think that he ends up back at Everton for me. I think it makes sense. I think Richie's got strengths to his game, and I think they really do suit the way that David Moyes sets up a football team. I think that would be a great move for them. Mate, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes in, we might as well all pack up and go home. Yeah, look, everyone's now talking about it. Yeah, but Angus, if Romero goes, we're going to need more centre halves to play in 4 competitions. So you can't just go in with, Danso, Van der Ven, and Dragoshin. You can't at all. Where are we? I wouldn't want Modric playing in Ange ball. I think we'd kill the guy's legs at his age. What a top player he's been, though. What a top player. Yeah, I mean, but Ash, I could replace the word Basuma with any Spurs player. If we're going to talk about getting rid of players who aren't consistent, name me a single consistent Tottenham Hotspur player for the last 2 years. There hasn't been one. So on that basis, you want to sell everyone. I think he'll go because he's been here a number of years. I think he'll want to be guaranteed playing more football. And I think you see a lot better out of him from a different manager. Now, Conte has gone, Napoli must have some players we go for. Well, Napoli are bringing in people like Kevin De Bruyne, Daniel. Napoli are bringing in people like Kevin De Bruyne. Andy, all day long, as I keep saying, though, Ange is the one that turned down Eze. We keep talking about Eze. Ange is the one that turned him down. But we'll see. Yeah, listen, of course, there's going to be wages freed up. Forster, Reguilon, Werner, whoever else goes, of course. Absolutely. Why don't you go for Matt O'Reilly? Well, I mean, he's just signed for Brighton. Again, everyone who keeps talking about Brighton players, Brighton don't sell their players cheap. I don't know how people still don't get this. Don't know how they still don't get it. As I said, I agree. I'd love Modric with his quality and bringing some experience. Again, the difficulty I've got is I don't know what Tottenham we're going to see next season. I don't know what formation we play. Are we going to be the Spurs that are wide open in the league? That would absolutely kill Modric's legs. Or are we going to be the Spurs that we saw in the Europa League? I genuinely don't know. That's my problem. I think he's okay. He's okay. I don't think he moves the needle enough for me. I think he'd be another rotation midfield squad player. I don't know if he moves the needle enough from Basuma, Bentancur, Sarr. I don't know if he does. He's okay. I wouldn't have massive issues with it, but I don't know. Yeah, you got other centre. Perchie's just sent me a message. Said 5 centre-backs he would replace Romero with that are realistic from La Liga. He said is Kumbala, Vivian, Mingueza, Costa, and Cambuala. Listen, there's players everywhere. Good scouting. There's players everywhere. Big up, Perchie. Big up to you. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, some good names there. Some good names. Yeah, Perchie, a bit of a residential expert on La Liga. Yeah, I would take Vlahovic. What I would say is this: whichever striker we bring in, I want them in the box. Like, I want us, Neil, this is just me. I don't know if you disagree with me or agree with me, mate. I want us to stop judging strikers by work rate. I want us to stop talking about Solanke and Richie being people that work hard. I want us to judge strikers by, do they look clinical? Are they scoring goals? Are they getting in the right positions? Because the thing is, and I've said this a number of times, when Solanke gets the ball for me, I never think he's going to shuffle it out his feet and bury it in the bottom corner, right? I never feel that. I felt that with Sheringham, Defoe, Keane, Kane, Klinsmann, blah, 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 Les Ferdinand, all these people. I felt it. With Solanke, I never feel it. I never feel like, oh my God, he's through on goal. I always think, oh, he's going to mess this up. And that's not where we should be. Definitely not taking party on the free. God, can you imagine? Listen, McTominay, listen, I think perfect for Ange's style of play. High energy, good engine, gets forward, powerful. Another player that would have that people would turn their noses up at, but I can't see him leaving. Hasn't he just won Italian Player of the Year, if I'm not wrong? Yeah, again, yeah, but had a great year. Fair play to the lad. I've got maximum respect for British players that leave the Premier League and go and do well elsewhere. Savva, why do Spurs want a striker? I mean, listen, he's got 9 league goals this season. For me, if you're going into the Champions League, you need better. Absolutely. And absolutely. Listen, again, is he obtainable? I don't know. But Leroy Sané is the sort of winger that when he gets the ball, you get off your seat. Frustrating he can be, yes, but he's direct. He runs at people. He can take them on. He likes to get his shot away. So for me, yeah, absolutely, that would be great. Yeah, but he's still only 16 or 17, isn't he? I think that we've got to be careful here when trying to chuck kids in all the time. I think we've got to be really careful with that. Yeah, Billy, you know what you're doing. Jaden says, Savva, I think this will be a big season for Dragoshin as he hasn't had the best of starts. Do you know what? I think Dragoshin, when I watched him play in Italy, is a very good defender in the right system. I keep talking about this. Danso, Dragoshin, very good in defenses that actually play as a back four, not a high line, no inverted fullbacks. The moment you go to a high line inverted fullbacks, you're taking away from what both these players are good at. And I think it's really important in football. It's really, really important in football to work out. Sometimes it's not that a player's dreadful. Sometimes the system doesn't fit. And Dragoshin, for me, is an old school centre half. He's a stopper. He's a somebody who wins the ball in the air. He wants to fight. He wants to tussle. He doesn't want to be on the half turn having to chase back his own goal. So for me, yeah, I agree. I think it will be a big season, but let's see. Let's see what. Listen, a lot's going to change in the next 2 months in the transfer window, right? A lot is going to change. So we'll see what happens. Big up to, yes, Semenyo, doable. Again, Semenyo, another winger. Probably not the sexiest name, the most glamorous name. Scores goals, beats his man, works hard, tracks back, powerful, direct. That's what I like. At the moment, we've got wingers that are a bit powder puffed. They don't take their man on, not physically strong. When you look at Son, when you look at Tell, when you look at Brennan Johnson, Odegaard, I always feel they're a little bit weak, just a little bit weak. They've got other strengths to their games, but I just feel they're a bit weak. Big up Lee, said Angel Gomez keeps getting mentioned and as a free, like it's a bad thing. Am I missing something? But wouldn't that be a great signing? I don't mind Angel Gomez. I don't mind him. I think he's a good footballer. I think the fact that he's free doesn't bother me. I think if everyone we buy is free, it'll bother me. The question I'm going to ask is this, Lee. You've got a lot of disparity with people when talking about Angel Gomez as to, is he a deep line playmaker? Is he an attacking midfielder? I've seen him play both. My question is he physically strong enough to sit and do that deep line playmaker role? I think he's a very talented footballer. Make no bones about that. Again, Lee, for me, and by the way, great. I thought you were brilliant last night on Tottenham away. For me, again, this all boils down to coaching, to tactics, to how are we going to play? How are we going to get Angel Gomez into the team and get the best out of him? So for me, I don't think it's a bad thing. Good player, helps with the English quota, but we'll see. We'll see, right? Where are we? Again, he is a goal scorer. Again, he's a goal scorer. There's a difference. Solanke for me is not. Solanke for me is more of your workhorse battering ram. Same with Richie. That Jonathan David for me is a little bit more prolific. And I've had my doubts on him in the past, but he's still scoring goals. He's still scoring goals in Champions League. And I think you need a goal scorer. I really do think we need a goal scorer. Big up to my man. Big up to you, mate. Great news. Got the keys to your new house. Love it. This early in the morning? God, I remember when I was getting the new keys to my house, I couldn't get them from the estate agent till about 5 p.m. Big up to you, man. Whereabouts? Obviously, you don't need to give me a postcode, but whereabouts have you bought, mate? Really pleased for you. By the way, you type people, let's keep smashing that subscribe button and let's smash the likes. There's 512 of you in here at the moment. Only 3 new subscribers and only 191 likes. Come on, people. Yeah, we talked about him already. Yeah, I'd definitely take Vlahovic. I think he's a bit more of a finisher than Dominic Solanke. But again, we've got to get them. We've got to get them into the box. Not all of this running around and prep. We've got to get the striker into the box and let the playmakers like Madison and Kulu, let them do that work. Get around Cherky and let him do the hard work and the getting the ball in the box and have the strikers in there. Yeah, lots of people have talked about this guy. Actually, Bino Gettins. I've seen him a few times. Looks like he's got something about him. I'd need to go and watch a lot more before I say 100%. But Dan, for me, I love a winger that beats a man. I really struggle when watching Tell and Odebert. I really struggle when watching Brennan Johnson. I feel like we need a winger that takes his man on for fun. That's what I feel we need. Big up to Neil. Said 100% agree. Enough of he works hard. We need to ping the balls into the box for a strike and get in the end of. Yeah, I listen. I get that people need to press. I get that people need to work hard. But when you're asking people, what's this striker good at? If the first thing that comes to mind is they work hard, I don't really know if that's great, I don't really know. Where are we? Yeah, Alfie, big up to you, my man. How you doing this morning? Give me some bloody experience now. Yeah, we've got to get some experience into this team. I'll be so disappointed if what we bring in is just like Delap and Dibbling. And again, not saying they won't be great in the future, but we need some experience. We need some experience. Grumpy Steve, big up to you. Don't be too grumpy. It's all right. Brennan Johnson, more a fox in a box and select. Agreed. But I'd sell Brennan Johnson. I think we can recruit what we paid, sell high. I agree with the fox in the box aspect, right? Brennan Johnson for me is such an enigma, isn't he? He truly is an enigma of a football player. He's his touch, his control, his passing, his crossing, his strength, it's non-existent. But he gets in the box. He's got a knack of getting in the box and putting the ball in the back of the net. He's the sort of player. My uncle always used to say this to me. He'd always judge a player by this. He'd say, would you open the curtains if they were playing in the garden? Right? My uncle always used to say that. And my uncle was the head of the academy at Cholton, by the way. And there are players that you wouldn't like. Would if Brennan Johnson was playing at the end of my garden right now, would I go, oh my God, that's Brennan Johnson? No. But I can appreciate what he does. If I've got a player like Eze who's playing at the end of my garden, am I going to watch? Yeah. Technical ability. Yeah, I'm going to. So I don't know if any of you have ever heard that saying before, but yeah, absolutely. Big up to each and every one of you. Jose, whichever one it is, said, Mbeumo's a must signing. None of this David stuff. Well, I mean, listen, they both play in different positions, but Jonathan David's a good goal scorer. And like Adi says, he does score goals in the Champions League as well. So I'm not sure why we would turn our nose up at that. Alfie said, Angel Gomez reminds me of an old school small central midfielder like a Paul Ince in that England setup. Listen, as I said, he is very small in stature, which is fine if you're good with your feet. I guess I'll go back to what I just said. It all depends on how you play these players to get the best out of them. Right? Have to be getting the best out of players. What you don't want to do is leave Angel Gomez exposed to 3 or 4 players attacking us at once. Like, you've got to, if you're going to play a small player like that, you've got to have some muscle around him. You've got to have your Basumas. You know what I mean? You've got to have some power next to him if you're going to do that. Do you think we can get Osman? I don't think we'd pay Osman's wages. I think Osman will have bigger fish to fry. But hey, who knows? I could be wrong. By the way, these are just opinions. These are my opinions. No one else's. That's all it is before everyone goes mad at me. Absolutely, Angus. Angus, you would think that people would like to be a bit more generous, wouldn't you? They're getting free content and loads of people in here. Hang on one second. Who's this? Someone saying, oh, have you seen more videos about you? Oh, God, fucking hell. People love it, don't they? Big up to my man, Josh. How you doing, bro? Savva, we are bloody European champions. Let's go. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm good, bro. How you doing? How you getting on? How's life? Hit me up. You've got my number, haven't you? Hit me up, Josh. I hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. Rakesh has said, David, Simmons, Gomez, Johnny, Wharton. Wharton, I do think is a pipe dream. I genuinely think Palace are going to charge the absolute earth for him. I think we've really got to remember they're going to charge the absolute earth for Wharton. I think we've got to realise that. And we're just not going to pay that sort of money. David, yes. Xavi Simmons, I, again, think he might have better options, but we'll see. Good player. Yeah, we'll see. Where are we? Mark said he's done some stats this morning on minutes, player per goal, conceded. Worst defender was Dragusin, midfielder was Basuma, forward was Tell. Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Simon has said Vlahovic and Buemo, Semenyo and Cherki. 167 million fixes your front four. Now, Simon, if you said to me next season that Spurs is front four, Semenyo and Buemo out wide, Vlahovic up top and Cherki creating, I'm all over it, mate. It's just not what we're going to do. It's just not how we operate. It's not how we operate. But I agree with you. Zink wants Jack Grealish. I'd take Jack Grealish. Hiram, yeah, I like Isaacson from Lazio as well. Good footballer. I'd take him. Neil, absolutely. Absolutely. He works hard. Is code for he doesn't score enough goals. Yeah, he works hard. Absolutely. Absolutely. Really appreciate that, my man. Harlan, I'm really well. Thank you, my man. Hope you are well as well. Just having a little transfer stream, seeing as now the window is going to be open very, very soon and clubs are talking to people. Let's see if Fabrizio Romano said anything in the last couple of minutes. Let's see. Normally got something going on, hasn't he? Raul, remember Raul? He leaves Real Madrid Castilla with immediate effect. So he's left the youth team. He go Real Madrid and Benfica in contact this week as planned for Alvaro Carreras. I don't know him. Agreement done with the player on long-term deal. Club to club now due to talk about transfer. Real Madrid just relentless, aren't they? They just keep going out and keep buying players. just relentless, Real Madrid. Spurs will bring in Calvert-Lewin, Dibbling, Jamie Vardy, and Nana and Soufal. Oh, gosh, thanks for that, Gaurav. Thank you for that. Big up to Lee. Said, hate to be the negative Nancy, but none of this player talk means a thing if Ange doesn't change and improve on coaching players. Even if having Ronaldo in the team would find a way to make him bad. Lee, I've said this all along. We can sit here and talk, and we're going to sit here and talk about players and who comes in and who fits. I don't know what the system is, Lee. So, when, as I said, when these people make these videos that go, oh, my God, this person is perfect for the Ange system. I don't know what the Ange system is because he completely threw that system out the window to win the Europa League. He completely went away from his own philosophy to win it. So I'm not sure who we are. We'll see. I really like Anthony Robinson at Fulham. I think he's a very good player. And if I'm not wrong, did I see that he's got the most assists? I might have made that up. I saw some sort of stat where he's got loads of assists. Can't remember what it was. Big up to my man, the Cookmeister. Big up to you, Mark. Hope you're well. Please get over and subscribe to the two Mark show, the Cookmeister and the Sheriff. And thank you very much for the super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you do, obviously away from the screen as well. So big up to you, Mark. And big up to Cy Berg, who said, big thanks, Savva, for your great work during this insane season. Kept me sane during the highs and the lows. Thanks, Si. I'm sure not everyone feels that way, but thank you very much. And if you guys did want to see me getting absolutely abused, I'm going to be on We Are Tottenham TV at 2 p.m. Stell, me, Ben and Sim. So basically those three Ange in people versus me. I'm going to get abused. You watch how abusive people are going to be in that chat. It's going to be unbelievable, but sod it. Sod it. Anyway, it is what it is. I wouldn't think you need to get rid of both, but for me, I would get rid of both. But for me, I think depending on the fee you get, depending who the player you're bringing in is, you could definitely get rid of one of them. And I think Richarlison's been here long enough now for me. I appreciate he works hard and he's a shithousery type of player. But for me, I think we're just a bit time. I would absolutely take Grealish. What Grealish is brilliant around the dressing room as well. You see him. He's always in and around that. You can see him. He's brilliant as a character. Very good footballer. Technique, works hard, technique, holds the ball up, draws fouls, doesn't give the ball away. Players like that. Again, this is where the goals and assists thing doesn't always come into play. He's not a prolific goal scorer. But what he does is he holds the ball up brilliantly. And that is such an underrated skill for a footballer. Where are we? Queen Ellie, big up to you. Says Savva, we all love your truth. You just say it as it is and are still Ange out. You don't flip flop. Thanks, Ellie. Not everyone loves me. I'm pretty sure. As I said, Ellie, tune in at 2 p.m. to We Are Tottenham TV. I don't know why I agreed to go on. Ben messaged me this morning, said, do you want to come on? And I was like, this is going to be fun. Your chat is just going to abuse the life out of me. Blissy, Bastoni is a pipe dream. Bastoni is a pipe dream. That's one of the best defenders out there. This boy is not coming to Tottenham Hotspur from his hometown club. He's already rejected us once. He's not going to come. Young Savva, I really don't think Ange is going to be. Oh, at the moment he is, right? At the moment he is. Sean, you know my opinion. Everyone, I'm not going to. I've purposefully not made this show about Ange, but purposefully I wanted to talk about transfers. Look. At the moment he is, until we hear otherwise he is, and we've got to get on with the transfer window. Whatever we say, whatever anyone's opinion is, at the end of the day, all of our opinions are just that. They don't really mean anything, do they? We row, we debate. They don't really mean anything. I know everyone gets all a bit excited and abusive because of opinions, but it doesn't mean anything. Me not liking Ange doesn't change anything that Tottenham are going to do about it. If they keep him, it's not because I don't like him. If they get rid of him, it's not because I don't like him. And when I say don't like him, as a manager. Will Arsenal win the title next season? I mean, look, I want to see what every club does in the transfer window before I start giving predictions as to who's going to win the Premier League, mate. Surely you got. Let's see who's City buying, Liverpool buying, Arsenal buying, Chelsea. Let's have a look and see who buys what. I think it will be that way round anyway. Look, for me, I just want some dynamic strikers. I want some quick, dynamic strikers that get in the box, score goals. I don't think either of these two are that player. Big up, Matty. Yeah. Too many have flip-flopped after winning the Europa. Look, each to their own. Everyone's allowed their own opinion, right? Everyone's allowed their own opinion. It is what it is, guys. Good morning, Lynn. How you doing? Channel member Lynn. How you doing, Lynn? Hope you are well. And I've just said Lynn, well, now 4 times. Big up to you, Lynn. There's 5. Hope you're well. Big up to Claire G. I said, get big pants on, Savva. Laugh out loud. I think Stel been abducted by it. No, listen, Stel's got his Stel's got his thing. It's all right. He's allowed to think that. Me and him go back and forth. I disagree with him. He disagrees with me. But you know what? That's life. Do you know what it is good for? Right? YouTube shows would be really shit if we all agreed, wouldn't it? Like, can you imagine? I know everyone in the chat goes mad, but imagine we all agreed. There'd be no content. So you imagine, just think about this. When I go into We Are Tottenham TV later and they've got over 1,000 people watching and I'm getting called a cunt left, right and centre. Just imagine those people that are hating me are watching because they want the debate, right? So what they're actually hating in me, they need that debate. If all thought, imagine me, Stel, Ben and Sim rocked up and just went, so what do we think? Yeah, amazing. What do we think of this player? Yeah, agreed. Amazing. Is the manager great? Yeah, amazing. Imagine we just did that. It would be such a bad show for everyone, wouldn't it? And listen, I only stick to my beliefs. Everyone else sticks to their own. Do what you got to do, people. Do what you got to do. 2 p.m. the show starts. My email address is fhtv inquiries at mail.com. There you go. I'll put it in the chat. I think it's this. Yeah, mail.com. There you go. FHTV inquiries at mail.com. By the way, anyone who sends me emails abusing me, I get them every day. They just get deleted. They don't even get read. I read the first sentence. See you later. So, big up, Ellie. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be lively. It's going to be lively. Hope you're well. Savva Spurs. I'll be honest, Ali. I'll be honest, and big up to you. I've not really seen us linked to too much at the moment. Normally by now, the press are going mad with Spurs are in for this player, that player, this player, that player. I don't really know. What I do know, Ali, is, come on, we've had 4 new subscribers this show. Let's at least get it to 10. Let's get that Let's get that moving, people. Not you. I know you're subscribed. Let's get that moving. Matty, it cracks me up, man. When they all say it's an echo chamber, look at the rows we have on our shows. If it was an echo chamber, it wouldn't be. Yesterday, look, I disagree with Stel. Stel disagreed with Ben. Ben disagreed with Stel. Like everyone disagrees with Danny. Danny and me agreed. It's just like, I love it, man. I love it. People want to see, they want to see content, right? But then they get annoyed. I don't understand. It's like some sort of weird perversion from people. Savva, do you think that we make another bid for Guayi? I hope so. I hope we do. As I've said all along, the same thing about Guayi. I truly believe that this man's going to have a number of suitors this year. He's England's number 1 centre-half now. He's always fit and available. And he's got 1 year left on his contract. I think he's going to have big suitors. But for me, I would 100%. Imagine Guayi, Romero, Van de Ven as a back three. Right? Savva, can you tell me who would like to get as defensive midfielder? Mate, I'd like Ricky of Torino. I'd like Paulinho. I like players like that. I like players like that read the game. I want a reader of the game. Matty has said, big up Ben and Sim from me on Tottenham TV. Yeah, listen, me and Sim don't really agree on a lot, but I like Sim as a person. I think he likes me as a person as well. Ben always got on with Ben. So, yeah, listen, they're great boys. They're great boys. I think what people have to realize to a degree, right? I think what people have to realize to a degree is everyone starts their channel for their own thing, right? Some people want to make content about others. Fine, crack on. It's not my style. I've never needed to. I've got my own opinions. I don't need to see somebody else and do that. You've got people who are just ultra positive all the time. Again, that's not me. I like to try and be balanced, right? You've got people who are ultra negative all the time. People do think that's me, but if you actually listen to the nuance of what I say, there's context in there. So everybody can do what they want. I'm not here to tell any other YouTuber what they do. Yeah, there are YouTubers I disagree with. There are YouTubers that I look at their content and think, why have you done that? It's up to them. None of us can tell each other how to YouTube, right? That's just how it is. That's how it is. All right. Listen, it wasn't always like that. I used to get really annoyed and, oh my God, they've made videos about me. Then I realized they're making videos about me because my channel's getting bigger, right? When I was at 3,000-4,000 subscribers, no one made videos about me. Now I'm heading towards 20,000. People make videos, and I've just got to realize that comes with a territory, right? So each creator does their own. As I always say, go and watch all of the Spurs creators. I think it's important to watch all of them. Yeah, all of them, everyone included in that. I think it's really important that everyone gets a flavor of everybody. Big up Dan said, I can't see us making any move until Ange is back from holiday and his future's been decided. Surely Levy, Paratici now know they can't buy players for one manager and then get another one. Well, look, I think he's staying, Dan. I don't want him to. I just think he's staying. So I think that, listen, there are certain players you can sign and it doesn't matter who the manager is, right? Let's be fair. No manager's going to rock up to Spurs and go, what? You bought Brian and Mbeumo? They're all going to love Brian and Mbeumo. No manager's going to go, what? You bought Paulinho in the number 6? They're all going to want. Do you know what I mean? But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You're hoping for Eze, Matoma, Guayi, Paulinho. Marianne, listen, imagine that as a window. Yeah. Now let that moment pass. Not happening in a million years. If we got that window, that would be the best window we've ever had. Wouldn't it? That would be the best window we've ever had, those four. Just not happening for me. I love your debates with Ben. Look, I want to say something, right? Maximum respect to Ben. We disagree on everything. Me and Ben disagree on everything. But you know what? He comes on. He comes on and he fights his corner and he has the debate. I love that about him. He drives me mad. I drive him mad. Fine. It's just content. I think Ben knows it's not personal. I don't think it's personal. I'm sure he knows it's not personal. It is what it is. We have heated debates and then we move on. So, look, maximum respect to him. I don't agree with him. Maximum respect to him because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, right, that say a lot, have a pop, but will never put their face to a camera. Do you think this will be the craziest transfer? I think there's going to be, yeah, I do think there's going to be a lot. I do think there's going to be a lot going on. I mean, already look at Liverpool, what they're doing, right? I think there's going to be a lot. I do. I seriously do. I think Newcastle are going to strike. We haven't seen Newcastle flex their muscles since the new owners come in. I think we're about to see that. I mean, we're going to see that. Sure, go for it, my man. Go for it, little Matty K. Make a video about me. Listen, it's just something I don't do. People could do it. It's just something I don't do. I don't go and find others' content, bring it up on screen, show it. It's just not what I do. I've always been so deep into my football. I've talked football all my life. I can turn a camera on, boom, I'm going, right? I don't need to scour the internet for other people. I don't need to say, look at that person's content. They're wrong. I might call out something every now and then, but hey, each to their own. There's a market for it, isn't there? There's a market for that content. It's just not me. That's all I'm saying. It's just not me. Kate said, Savva, I disagree with you. I think Ange will go. Kate, and I hope you're right. Kate. Please do Angie and Ange out today again. Becoming interesting, exciting. Call out again, Ange out. No, if I do that poll again, what will it achieve? This show hasn't been about Ange and Ange out, so I don't know what that would achieve. Mate, I don't know. I don't know expressions. I don't know him. I've got no way of getting in contact with him. I'm guessing he wouldn't want to come on. He'd have no need to come on my channel. The man's massive in the game, isn't he? So yeah, listen, it's not that simple. By the way, by the way, look at these. I always have my call-in shows, and I open up the line to any YouTuber out there. A lot of them talk about me, but they'll never come on and actually have the chat with me. So, you know, it is what it is. The Notorious PRG said, I will argue passionately. You will argue passionately about what we believe in. That's okay. We don't have to agree. Doesn't mean anyone is hated. I agree. Hang on. Are me and you starting to bond, Notorious PRG? I agree with that. Listen, heated, not hated. We should make that a t-shirt. Some of the debates get heated and people go, oh, everyone hates everyone. Heated, not hated. Don't abuse others. Get heated, fine, but not hated. I agree. I think that's it. I think heated, not hated. There you go. We just became friends, Notorious PIG. Where are we? Simon, I said, Savva, how much do you think we're going to spend this summer? I think it all depends on what we sell. We always seem to balance the books. So I'm guessing we'll probably be somewhere in the region of 150 out and maybe 100 odd in. I don't know. Maybe 130 out, 100 in, something like that. I don't think I'd be too far wrong if I went with that. All I want to know is, do you actually pronounce Paratici properly? I know you're having a go out there. I think I pronounced Paratici properly. Big up to you. Terry has said, Valise 5 million, Solomon 15, Scarlett 5, Super 15, Richie 20, Hill 5, PH 15. That's just 80 million sales. Listen, Terry, I agree with you. I agree with you. No excuses apart from we know what we do. No excuse. I completely agree with you. It's got to be spent wisely, though. It's got to be spent wisely. The next call-in show is going to be tomorrow. The next call-in show tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Maybe Thursday. I think Thursday. Tomorrow I have the show with Stell. Savva and Stella Ask Us Anything. In the evening, I'll be doing the Chelsea final on FHTV Plus. Probably Thursday, mate. Where do you think Ronaldo will end up? Don't know. Retire. Just retire. Maybe America. I don't know. Maybe America. If not, retire. Avi. Yeah. Well, listen. Someone drove their car straight through the middle of the parade, knocking over multiple people. It wasn't nice scenes. And again, all the faults go out to all those that were involved. And again, that's important things in life, right? That's important things. This is football. Let's let's call it for what it is. They're the important things. This is football. So my heart goes out to all of them. I think I've sort of seen a few things flash up in the last hour. I don't think anybody's been killed from it, which is, fingers crossed that is the case. Don't want to see any fatalities, but I know there's a few that are very seriously injured. So I hope that they get better very, very soon. Nobody deserves that. It was just a trophy parade. And with a trophy parade, no one deserves to have that going on at them. Who's messaging me? Where we go. Okay, we'll go to that later. No, definitely not another 5-hour stream in the call-in show. Then again, you just don't know, do you? We don't put time limits on it. Soulfist said we need a new manager, unfortunately. League form for the past 2 years can't be excused by Europa. Big respect to Ange, though. He can leave with dignity and respect. Look, I agree with you. I'm not going to go too deep into the Ange thing today. I think we did that quite a lot yesterday. But yes, I agree with you. Maybe back to Sporting Lisbon would be good for Ronaldo. Hey, maybe that would be good. Wouldn't be good for any young strikers at Sporting Lisbon, would it? Vuskovic, I don't know. Can anyone say they've seen enough of him that he's ready to play first team football in the Premier League? I think it's a big shout without having seen him. I really, really do. Guys, girls, I'm going to leave it there today. I didn't want to do too much. And I've got a video coming out later this afternoon. And we are Tottenham TV at 2. Ali Garcia, big up to you for the super sticker. That's very, very generous. Very, very generous indeed. I really, really do appreciate you. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 5 more minutes, everyone. Big up to you, Ali. Thank you very much for that. That's very generous. A user who's always very generous said, Paratici is coming back on his terms. Say bye to Ange. Well, listen, there's lots of speculation, and I believe that. But look, I don't know. We'll wait and see. At the moment, he's the manager. At the moment, you've got to look forward to next season with him as the manager. That's all we can do. Let's see. Savva, Ezan Guezo is not happening. Palace won't sell. Well, Palace will have to sell Gray. He's got 1 year left. I want David Palhinha. By the way, Eze, again, Ange didn't want him. Any watch-alongs tonight? No, I don't think there's any games on tonight, are there? No, I think I'm out tonight. No, there's no games on tonight. I'll be doing the Europa League, the Conference League final tomorrow night, but there's no games tonight. But hey, for every super chat, I'll tell you what we'll do. For every £1 super chat, I'll extend the show by that many minutes. Just kidding, Vagabroos. Just kidding. Adis has said there remains a chance Ange Postecoglou could stay at Tottenham. Of course, he's just won a European trophy. I know everyone sees that I don't rate him as a manager, but I'm not numb and naive to the fact that he's just won a European trophy and will probably stay. But Jack Grealish at this age probably knows he won't get 300k again if he stays in this country. So you've got to take that into account. Big up Matty K with a super sticker. Thank you very much, Matty. Start revising. You've got exams next week, please. Thank you for the super sticker, but you've got exams next week. By the way, come on, guys. You've been really bad today on the subscribers. We've had 4 new subscribers and 2 have unsubscribed. Come on, guys and girls. Come on. Hashtag 1 more minute. Big up to you, my man. Big up to you. Any willingness to bring Luka Modric for 45? It all depends on the style of play we have. If we play this gung-ho kamikaze football, can you imagine what we would do to Luka Modric's 39-year-old legs? Where are we? What did I say? I saw something else that I thought was in there. Sane. Yeah, I'll take Leroy Sane all day long. Yes, I can post your link in the chat. 1 second, Matty. Let's do that. What's your channel called? What is the channel called, Matty? Right, that's not. Oh, hang on. It probably helped if I checked. Hang on, Matty K. Matty K. What's your channel called, Matt? Matty K Coys. 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Matty K. Coys. There he is. There he is. Okay, let's get him some more subscribers. Here we go. Guys and girls, the link is in the chat for little Matty K. Help him. He's just hit his first 250. Let's see if we can get him closer up to 500. There's the link. Please subscribe to little Matty K. He's a good lad. He loves his Spurs, loves his debates. So please, if you can subscribe to him, that would be amazing. It's a big deal when people start getting towards their first 1,000. So please do that for little Matty K. 250 is on at the moment. Someone's just subscribed to 251. Come on, guys, we can get him a few. Thank you very much. On that note, guys, I am going to leave it there. I need something to eat and I need a little bit of rest before we do the 2 p.m. on We Are Tottenham TV. Don't know what I'm letting myself in for. Guys, take care. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow for Savva. I don't normally do the morning show on a Wednesday unless there's any really good transfer news or any news. So tomorrow I'll be back in the afternoon for Savva and Stell. Ask us anything. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.